Okay, I got a new tip and electrode in the old plasma. Let's just say that I more than got the good out of that last one. I can show you it real quick. Here's the electrode. It's got a cavity in it, like a good dentist would have a hard time fixing that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bare off a spot on the frame over here. I guess my leads are telling me that I'm getting too far from the machine here. I'm gonna run out of propane in my patio heater. I'm gonna break down and order up a big tank and get my overhead furnace running this next week. Just because it's finally winter. We're into the middle of January and it's finally getting cold enough that I need heat, which is amazing. Usually by the second week of October here, it's cold enough that you wouldn't be able to work in here without heat, and we made it till the middle of January, so no complaining there. Other than we've had no moisture, so the cattle and the farming and everything is looking kind of bleak for next summer. This won't cut through that metal without the ground, so you just take the torch and you use that kind of artificial art to burn the paint and rust and everything off down to bare metal. Put your ground on it, saves you from running and getting a grinder. This is going to be more of the same. It's going to be taken off piece by piece. As you can see, I taped up all of my intake stuff so that my engine's not ingesting any metal while I'm building it. And then we'll pull all that off and we put our intercooler and our filter and everything to it. Okay, onto the driver's side. Now, the driver's side will have to be a little more careful because there's a lot of wires and stuff over here. So it's going to be more of a selective flame type of a situation, because the last thing we want to do is burn a bunch of hoses and wires and stuff off and have to start troubleshooting stuff. There's a lot of people that say that the sparks and the arc coming off of this isn't hot, and like as soon as the sparks hit the floor, they won't even light a paper towel on fire. Well, I think that's total BS, because, I mean, it's melting iron, steel, metal, turning it into lava, and that's hitting the floor. It's hot. I've had it actually burn through my shoe, down between my toes, and then run back on my foot and burn a hole in the bottom of my foot that took 2 or 3 weeks to quit hurting. Trust me, it's hot. I have this piece of the firewall that I cut off, and I'm gonna wedge that in there where the sparks are coming up along that spring perch, that spring cup, to stop the sparks and stuff from hitting any wires or anything on this side. We'll just stick that in here and protect all of that, so I don't have to deal with it later. This side over here is full of dirt, so I didn't have quite the... Just blow it back in my face from down here instead of blowing it through. I can't get the torch in there very good right now, so I'm just going to cut it from this other side. And I'll try to make sure I miss the frame. So that's proud now, and I can come back and trim that a little bit later. I got everything cut off. I got the 4-link bracket all cut off down here. I got the spring cup all cut off of here. I did that on both sides. After all day yesterday of cleaning this axle off to put under the off-road wrecker, I come to the conclusion that this axle disconnect and the fact that I need a solid axle shaft to put in it, and then I need hubs for it and everything. This axle, in order to get it ready, would take many hours and many dollars to make this thing where it will hold up to the abuse that we're going to give the off-road wrecker. I have a high pinion Dana 60 over in the big shop out of a 95 F350 that is much more suitable, stronger, just an all-around better axle. It was dubbed for a different project, but we're going to bring it in here and we're going to stick it under the off-road wrecker so that, one, we can be ready to go to the games, and two, we'll just have a better axle, and maybe in the future we'll tear this one down and completely rebuild it to use in a future project, or maybe we'll put it under the wrecker, but it'll be at a future date. So right now, let's get this axle moved out of the shop and bring in the high pinion Dana 60, and then we'll work on shoving it underneath the wrecker, getting it up on the 42s so we can do all of our fitment and see what kind of problems that causes us. So with that said, let's do some axle swapping. Okay, I got the Dodge Dana 60 over here at the big shop. Of course, I'm using the Axle Mover 6000. This wrecker has been one of the handiest things. We're gonna trade that axle out for this high pinion Dana 60 right here, out from under a Ford. It's got all of the bracketry and everything for the 4-crawler on it that will, some of it will probably work and some of it will have to come off so that I can use it on the Dana 60 that we're putting under the 4-crawler that had the ARB and everything in it. I would just use this axle, but it's a passenger side drop. Doesn't work for the Dodge. It's on the wrong size, on the wrong side. This has an Atlas 4-speed T-case in it with a passenger side drop, so it works perfect for that rig. That rig had this high pinion Dana 60 in it. However, the Atlas T-cases are pricey. I had one on the shelf, so we're doing a full axle swap and using that inventoried Atlas. So I'll get this high pinion out there, get it hung off of the wrecker. I'm going to throw that Dodge axle in here because we need the tires off of it to go under the 4-crawler, and then I'll probably rack that front end and start putting parts on a wish list for it as far as building an axle out of it. Operation Retrieve the High Pinion Dana 60 was a total success. So we now have that in here. I'm going to jack this up and throw the 42s on it. In doing so, probably the first order of business is going to be getting rid of the radiator support mounts. When I do that, I'll have to bring the radiator over here and we'll just lob the front of this frame off. So, because the reason that I have to cut it off is you can see the radiator support mounts here are way lower than here. So our radiator and everything is going to have to mount quite a bit lower so that we can use that mechanical fan, and so that our hood will close, because we have to retain kind of OEM specs in order to keep that radiator and everything. So let's throw the 42s on, and then we'll see what kind of real estate we have left as far as making all of this work and work together, I should say.